Ladies and gentlemen, I am so happy and I am so grateful to be standing in front of this group here and being in the process to start what very well can become the world's foremost and greatest mass movement ever for peace and harmony on earth. And I think life is absolutely very interesting, even more is absolutely fascinating, because I tell you, only a week ago I was giving a lecture in Stockholm at Stockholm University, and the subject of my lecture was the age of universal peace. And for 60 minutes I elaborated on why we need to change what we are doing here on earth and to the earth and to ourselves to a completely different system and lifestyles than the ones we presently are having. Yes, I think I should make a confession here or two, since we are going to be partners in the same venture here. And the first one I would like to tell you in confession, that is that I'm deeply in love. I'm deeply in love with your mother, and your mother, and your mother, my mother, with Mother Earth. Mother Earth and I, we have bonded very closely since my early days in Sweden, when I bonded with nature, out sailing, out skiing, out skating, and even hunting at that time. I don't do that anymore, though. And lately, the past 40 years, after I've read Rachel Carson's landmark book, The Silent Spring, I realized that we humans, we are doing absolutely horrific damage to the very system and to the very entity that gives us life and nurture. And here we have an example in Rachel Carson, who wrote The Silent Spring. She's a petite woman, a marine biologist, and she took on the chemical industry of the world and told the world that the use of DDT is causing the birds to lay eggs without the shell, and they crush the birds, no singing, a silent spring. She was challenged by the industry. They poo-pooed her and they tried to tear her down. But 10 years after that book, she won her case in court, and DDT was not allowed here in America. But being very clever businessmen, the manufacturers, they shipped it overseas. So why am I so happy? Because here in Douglas Ivanovich's initiative here, to launch this massive movement, and through the instrumentality of music to grab the attention and the hearts of the people around the world. And we will sing and we will dance and we will laugh in order for peace to become possible. And we are bringing in many different groups and colleagues in order to work as this catalyst for change. And one of the most important things here, that is that we have to educate. We have to educate not only the youth of the world in what is the purpose of life on earth. Why are we here? Are we here just to have instant gratification of all our pleasures and pains? Or is there a higher purpose? Yes, there is a higher purpose, and we are all here on earth. Look upon earth as a school, and we are here, and hopefully one day we shall graduate. If you don't graduate, we are coming back again and again and again. That's the way it works. And love is a thing that is behind the entire creation. Love in the universe. And I will just finish my remarks here by saying that in 1992, then United Nations convened the second conference on the environment. I was there. It was in Rio, and in Flamenco Park there were 12,000 people in front of me, and at that time I pitched and I said, we have to change. Our systems are collapsing. We can no longer breathe the air. We cannot drink the water. Species are becoming extinct. And of course, that is now 20 years ago. And in front of me, right there, was seated in a white-robed man, white beard. I knew darn well it was an acharya. And after my lecture, I walked up and I said, Your Holiness, can you please tell me, is there hope for the world? And he said, yes, Mr. Nobel, come here. Come and sit down on the bench. And we were seated under a fig tree, and he dug into his pocket, brought out some grapes. I never seen finer, bigger grapes. Take one. I took it. It was the best grape I ever had. And then he said, I will answer your question with a fable from India. And this is the way it goes. When God created the earth, he was very, very proud, very happy. It was his finest creation in the entire universe. So he threw a party, and he invited in all the devils and all the angels to participate. And he said in his opening remarks were, you are come to celebrate the earth, my finest creation in heaven. And there's only one rule you must obey while you are here, while you're eating and drinking and laughing, and you may never bend your elbows. The devils cried out, that's horrible, and they all left. The party started, and the angels were smiling and laughing and eating, and God, he was very, very pleased. Now, what did they do? Yes, they were feeding each other. They were caring about each other. And that is a message that the Ashariya gave to me, and that is a message that we now are going to step out and magnify through the electronics and through the smartphones and through the talent and gifted people around the world, and have world peace won. Now, world peace won, that's a strange word. How does it come about? Well, we have had World War I, we have World War II, and we are a breath away, most likely, from World War III. That would be a terrible snuff out the atomic nuclear war if that takes place. So that is why this is coming as exceedingly timely time to change the world and save humanity and the miracles of life that we have here on earth. Is my 8 minutes up now? Yes, it is. So with that, I will just conclude and say that we are really committing crimes against nature. And if you think upon life on earth as a fabric, and here we humans, in our greed, in our stupidity, in our ignorance, and in our lust for power, we are pulling out thread after thread after thread. We are weakening the fabric of life. That is a crime against nature, and nature will not tolerate that. Nature does not need us. We need nature. And if we don't change this stupid behavior, then nature will step in with her self-regulating laws. And I think that Einstein, when he said here that there are two things of infinite stupidity, and that is universe and human stupidity. That's what he said. And he added, and I don't know about the universe. So if you look upon all these areas of crisis, there are really areas of stupidity. And some scientists now call us Homo science, is our name, Homo sapiens, a knowing man. So there's a suggestion we should be called Homo sapiens sapiens, the doubly wise one. Well, I think those scientists are dead wrong in view of what's happening on the world and to the earth. I think we should be called Homo stupidus stupidus. So with that, I will make my remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Claus.